fight the power every day.
Yeah, gotta give us what we want. Gotta give us what we need. Hey.
I listen to KBLA and I love the commercials. I know what the commercials mean. I also, if I'm looking and trying to figure something out, I need something to talk to me that might hit me. And it happens on TV because, you know, every time they show a sporting event, they got the pharmaceutical companies back to back telling people how to fix the sickness on the same stuff that they sell them. So we get it.
Yep, we get it too, Chuck D. And that's why at KBLA Talk 1580, we don't black down.
Drop it. Our freedom of speech is freedom of death. We got to fight the powers that be. Fight the power. Fight the power. Fight the power.
The blackness. Keep on. Never say die. Keep on. Blackness. Keep on. Never say die. Keep on.
You are listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. I'm Dr. Nii-Quartelai Quartey, your host and White House correspondent. Not at the White House today. I'm live with you here in Los Angeles in afternoon drive time. I'm in touch until you be in touch. Be sure to follow me on all the social media platforms at Dr. Nii-Quartelai. Just type in Dr. Nii-Q, D-R-N-I-I-Q. And there I am, fresh for you to follow. Also, be sure to download the KBLA app to listen to us live or on demand, or simply tell Alexa to play KBLA Talk 1580 if you're really feeling fancy. Also, be sure to subscribe to A More Perfect Union podcast. That way you can get that little push notification, and that way you will never miss an episode. Listen, yesterday I had the chance to see former Vice President Kamala Harris. Yep, right here in Los Angeles. She was at the Wiltern on her book tour promoting this new beauty, 107 Days. This book I was reading this morning is on a trajectory to become the best-selling book of the year. Whoa. The year? That's a lot of books. I think I saw somewhere around 350,000 books sold in the first week. What? Yeah. And so yesterday she said a lot of things during the stop here in Los Angeles. But for folks who are wondering, well, what kind of book is this? Well, what's going on here? She says that this book is basically, it's a journal. It's a journal of the 107 days on the campaign with specific dates. She dedicated the book to her team and was very clear that, though you may win or lose an election, when you lose, your spirit can't be defeated. And it's her opinion that you can't let that happen. You can't let them win by defeating your spirit. And so she felt like a joyful warrior last night at the Wiltern. She told a number of stories, which if you decide to join her for the book tour, you will hear her share a number of these stories, I'm sure. She talks about a lot of things, but one thing that I think is particularly interesting at this moment, she talked about the state of the Democratic Party. And she was asked, like, what advice would she offer to the Democratic Party? She said she predicted almost everything that's happened, but not the sort of capitulation that we've seen from titans of industry, the capitulation that we've seen from law firms, for example. And she hadn't been in D.C. since the inauguration until this past weekend during Congressional Black Caucus. That was her first time returning. And she talked about how a number of journalists are scared of being fired. And real talk, they feel like their lives are at risk. I certainly understand that. The administration is trying to keep truth from the American people. But she said this is the time to rise up. Her words. This is the time to rise up when the American president is trying to keep the truth from the American people. She talked about how last week, when we saw the Jimmy Kimmel shenanigan take place, she reminded us that people spoke with their pocketbooks, reminding us that the power is still with the people. She didn't write this book, she said, for political pundits. She wrote it for everyday people. And there's a lot more that she says, but I'm gonna leave that there and encourage you to have your own experience with her on this book tour, or simply just go pick up the book or download the audiobook. I've actually enjoyed listening to the audiobook first. And then if I really like it, then, I dig into the book itself. But Madam VP, I have a number of questions for you. And so at some point, we hope to get answers to those questions. We'll leave it there. When we come forward, I'm really looking forward to being in conversation with my high school best friend. He's no stranger to this show. He's popped up on occasion. But today, he's here marking a major occasion. He is on the cusp of his writing and directorial debut on October 8th. You'll have a chance to tap in and see his work of art. It's called Stay. It'll be available on Hulu. It's a part of their Huluween campaign. Get it? Halloween, Huluween. We're going to talk about his journey and this incredible film. Real talk, he called me before the show to ask me, hey, what'd you think? And I said, we'll talk about it on air. So he gonna find out when y'all find out. When we come forward, you're listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580.
You're listening to A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code MAJOR25 to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code MAJOR25 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code MAJOR25 for a 25 cents per gallon talent bonus.
Hello, KBLA delegation. Tavis Smiley here. On Saturday, October 25th, LA Trade Tech becomes the epicenter of ideas that matter. The Left Coast Forum is bringing together voices that challenge, inspire, and illuminate, with keynote presentations from people like noted economist Richard Wolff, the man who breaks down capitalism in ways that make sense to working folk like you and me, and Dr. Cornel West will be there, the brilliant philosopher and activist who never stops fighting for justice and speaking truth to power and to the powerless, for that matter. So this isn't just another conference. This is where ideas get tested, where the conversations that shape our future begin. Multiple plenary sessions, dynamic speakers, real talk about the issues that impact our communities, and then some good food and a live band. Saturday, October 25th, LA Trade Tech, Left Coast Forum. The event is free and open to the public, but you must register at our KBLA1580.com website, where you can also peep the plenary topics. The future belongs to those who show up and engage. So don't just think about change, be part of the conversation that creates it. The Left Coast Forum is brought to you by the LA Progressive, the Empowerment Congress, Community Coalition, Partnership for Growth LA, Southwest Voter Registration Education Project, LA Care Health Plan, United Teachers Los Angeles, Black Progressive Action Coalition, St. John's Community Health, the National Lawyers Guild, the Weingart Foundation, and more. Space is limited, so if I were you, I'd register right now at KBLA1580.com. Your voice matters, your presence matters. We'll see you there.
We have no permanent friends or permanent enemies. Only permanent interests. As we effort to build a more perfect union.
You are listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. I'm Dr. Nii-Quartelai Quartey, and really delighted to be in conversation with my high school bestie. Yes, there are lots of stories that he will not share on air with you. And I have a feeling if I start sharing a little too much, he might decide differently. Jazz Summers is joining us. He is the writer and director of what I'm claiming as the new hit film on Hulu. It's called Stay, and you'll have an opportunity to stream it from the comforts of wherever you are starting October 8th. It is a supernatural thriller that he both wrote and directed, and here to talk all about it, ladies and gentlemen, I give you Jazz Summers. Jazz, are you there? Can you hear us? All right, so while we're waiting for Jazz's sound to come through, let me just say that I've had a chance to watch the film, and, you know, it is beautifully shot. It really is like a work of art. It is art. It looks like a work on the art. It looks like there's a lot of money on the screen. It looks like there's a lot of moisturizer on the people. I mean, this is a really a solid film. And if anybody were to ask me if a supernatural thriller was going to be Jazz's first film, I probably would not have said that a supernatural thriller would be his first film, knowing how much Jazz, how his interest in things is so wide ranging. But this film right here, this was going to be one to remember. And so as soon as we have Jazz's sound where it needs to be, I'm eager to hear from him how he's feeling as he is on the cusp of, again, his writing and directorial debut. You know, it's so interesting whenever our friends take the journey towards doing the thing that is all about living out their God-given potential. And so, you know, what makes this season in our lives so special is, you know, I was talking to Jazz as I was writing my book, Combo the Motherland and Me. And, he's been talking to me, at length as he's been writing and developing and now filming this beauty of a film, Stay. Jazz, we can hear you loud and clear. Tell us, how are you feeling in this moment where you are basically about a week away, from making a big splash on one of the biggest platforms around the world, Hulu?
Well, sorry about the difficulty there. Those things happen in this world of Zooming and these calls, so my apologies, sir. But you did a wonderful job filling in. How am I feeling? First of all, I want to backtrack a little bit. And I want to say what an honor it is for us to be on this type of platform, man. Like, we have come a long way from high school friends, and now we're on KBLA doing our thing, and you doing your book, and me having this movie out. And I think it's really special for two young men who met in a sophomore English class and have been friends ever since. So I want to take the moment to say thank you and appreciate these moments. You know what I mean?
Started from the bottom, now we're here.
And then to answer your question, I'm nervous, man. Like, I'm excited, I'm nervous, all the above. It's a crazy journey. We're almost a week away, and this was a labor of love, as you know, and it's been a journey that is unforgettable. And I'm nervous to put it out there for everyone to see it, but I'm also just really excited for everyone to see it as well.
Well, I think you have really sort of hit it out the ballpark. There are a lot.
So you saw it?
You
ended up watching it.
I did, and we're going to talk about it in a second. But I think you hit it out the ballpark in terms of this film, this independent film, really landing on a platform like Hulu. I think there are a lot of independent filmmakers out there that are just happy to have made the film. They're happy that the film has been made. It's in the can. Great. And to get any distribution, folks are excited about that. But you really hit it out the ballpark, getting it distributed on Hulu. Talk to us about your journey as an independent filmmaker. How long did it take you to write this and to find the right partners and the right distribution channel to get this thing on a screen near us?
Yeah, it's not unlike any other filmmaker journey. I feel different. I just think it was something that I had actually started it. I went to USC Film School, and so on the way out, there's a directing project that you could possibly do, and I had the initial idea for this directing project, and so I shot a little bit of a short at that USC that definitely is not as good as this film, but that was where the idea came from. I went and had another film that I was really trying to make and had gotten some traction with, and that ended up falling through. And it was one of those things where it was a come to the ancestors moment, and a talk with the Most High and saying, like, look, if I'm not meant to do this, show me a sign. And so I have my producing partner Garrett Thompson, who also went to USC. That
Garrett.
You're familiar with Dr. Garrett Thompson. And the thing was, I called him. I said, man, hey, I have this idea for this really low budget film. Check it out. Let me know what you think. Can we do this? Click, get back to me. And in my mind, I was thinking, if Garrett, doesn't really like it and comes back and says, this isn't really that good or anything, then that might be the sign of you have to think of something else to do with your life, really. And so Garrett calls me a week later, and anyone who knows Garrett Thompson knows that he's a jovial, funny guy, likes to mess with people. So he got on the phone and said, hey, is this really what you want to do, Jazz? Like, is this really the one? I don't know. And then finally he said that, never mind, I love it, man. This is a great project. Like, we should really try to do it. And as every great producer in the business will tell you, but I have notes and I have thoughts. And so this was late 2020, early 2021. And so, he had his thoughts and notes, and we dug in, and we had a lot of, yelling matches and screaming matches and creative matches back and forth about what we wanted to do with the project, where we wanted to take it. And, I'd hang up on him and he'd hang up on me, and we'd yell at each other and call each other back and say, oh, never mind, man, I'm sorry. I love you. Let's try it again. What do you think about this note? What do you think about that note? And that whole creative process, is what you get with the producing partner. And we were locked in, man. We were locked in. And so that process was about 2.5 years of rewriting the whole script, 2.5 years. So a 3-year process of writing the script. And then, we're independent, man. We're like, we're gonna do this on small budget. So I was gonna shoot in my mom's house. We were gonna guerrilla style this whole thing. And so we had gotten, the budget we thought we could shoot for like $500,000, and we had raised some money, $100,000 or so dollars or something like that. And we were gonna, do this. We just amped each other up so much we're gonna get this done, old school style. And so we were able to get to a casting director, and she was able to link us with Mo McRae. And I had lunch with Mo McRae. He had read the script and said he wanted to meet with me, and we had a really great lunch. And then Mo McRae became attached as a producer, and he brought his production company, Scalable, onto the project. And so that was his wife and his producing partner, his wife Lex Scott Davis and Jared Hoffman, who are producers on the project. And they met with me and Garrett. And so, the 5 of us kind of dug in and said, we got to make this thing bigger. Garrett and I had made it really small, and we were trying to do it, in my mom's house, and thinking like we only had 12 days. And they were like, no, we need to make this bigger. We need to figure out a way to make this bigger. And so go back and work on the script again. And so that was another year almost of a writing process to now get it to the level that we all felt really good about taking it out. And that's what we have now. That's what we have.
So let's talk about the connection to the ancestors, right? And so I mentioned at the top that this is a supernatural thriller. For our leaders, learners, and listeners who may be less familiar, what does that mean? And talk to us about your intent to make the ancestors a through line in this story in a pretty meaningful way.
So supernatural thriller for this film is basically, there's an entity, a force that is trapping the 2 leads in the house and is creating them to go through a spiritual journey. So that means that there are things in the house that are going on that are taking them into some really, difficult traumas of their lives and of their relationship that they really have to go through. And so it's kind of like messing with their mind, right? It's messing with everything. Is it real? Is it really happening? Are they really experiencing these things? Is it something that, is our lead character, Kiara, is she imagining it? You know what I mean? And so for me, I've really gotten in the last probably like 10 years, although I've always thought that I was a spiritual person, but in the last 10 years or so, I've really tried to tap into kind of like our connection in terms of African Americans to Africa and our spirituality and where that comes from. And so I'm someone who believes, that we all come from Africa. And so that means that, God was there. And so our understanding of God comes out of Africa first. And so I really went back and tried to tap into some of the things, that were coming out in terms of Kemet and Kush and Nubia and some of those ancient worlds, that Kemet being Egypt, for those of us who are uninitiated. Egypt is a Greek word, but when you're African and you're Black, it's Kemet, so Kemites and things like that. And so that's how deep I got. I was like, I'm not even calling Egypt anymore. I'm calling it Kemet. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how we get down. So for me, I was like, let's tap into some of that for this in terms of West African. We all come on the slave ships, or not all, but a lot of us came from the slave ships. And so that West African spirituality and tapping into that and its connection to the Caribbean and Haiti and New Orleans and things like that, in terms of using it as like in a positive manner. Like, to me, our spirituality, African spirituality, and a lot of times had been demonized and used as a negative. And I wanted to do something that was using it in a different light, in a positive light, in a way for people to look at it as a strength and not a weakness.
Wow. I mean, I think it's incredible. And as I hear you lay that thing out, I can't help but think about another great film from another extraordinary USC Film School alum, Ryan Coogler, also from the Bay.
Yes.
Talk to us about what this moment means, having a film like Sinners out and making a big splash and really, exalting the supernatural thriller genre through a Black lens. And now we see Stay getting ready to make its debut on Hulu. What's going on? Do you see this as sort of a burgeoning area of film, these sort of Black supernatural thrillers?
Yeah, I think so. I think, first of all, shout out to Ryan Coogler. It was an amazing film and a lot of energy. But I think for me, it started in the past probably 10 years where it starts with Get Out. I think that we'd had other films in the past that had dealt with, from a Black lens and a Black perspective, horror or supernatural thrillers, but they weren't given the budget or they weren't given the push by the studios. And I think Jordan Peele's Get Out really was one of the recent ones that kind of came in and said there's a market that Black people want to watch these thrillers, these supernatural things, these supernatural films. And I think that Sinners just took it to another level, and hopefully Stay, although a different type of supernatural thriller, I think is in that same ballpark of opening up our ability to tell different types of stories in that supernatural realm, supernatural arena.
Well, when we come forward, Jazz Summers, as both a student and historian of cinema, I know that he's driven by his passion for telling dramatic stories that explore themes like identity, the themes of relationship, all those things, while maintaining sort of an artistic sensibility. When we come forward, I really want to dive into your origin story. I think the people want to know Jazz Summers' origin story. It's an origin story that is years in the making. Here at KBLA, we are excited about this writing and directorial debut that you're about to make with Stay, premiering on Hulu October 8th. More with writer-director Jazz Summers when we come forward. You're listening to A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580.
The audience is listening. Thought-provoking, eye-opening, heart-rendering. This is where authentic voices meet powerful discussions on culture, community, and change. This is where Black voices matter. He's breaking boundaries, amplifying diverse perspectives, and tackling the issues that matter most to you. You're inside A More Perfect Union with Dr. Nii-Quartelai Quartey on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Misty Jordan with BIN News Now. World leaders are awaiting Hamas's response to a peace plan proposed by President Trump. Trump said he'll give Hamas 3 or 4 days to respond.
The Arab countries are signed up. The Muslim countries all signed up. Israel's all signed up. We're just waiting for Hamas.
If Hamas rejects the deal, Trump says he'll let Israel, quote, go and do what they have to do, end quote. Many big-name comedians are criticizing their fellow A-listers for taking a huge payday from Saudi Arabia. A comedy festival in Saudi Arabia is attracting big names like Dave Chappelle. Some comedians don't agree with the decision, pointing out the Saudi government ordered the execution of a journalist and has a horrific human rights record. And next Monday, McDonald's will bring back its popular Monopoly sweepstakes game for the first time in nearly a decade. Get BIN News now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Elysian Park, the 110 northbound before the 5, got a crash on the right shoulder. Stop and go all the way back to the 10, and you're probably going to find a lot of extra traffic around Dodger Stadium with the game coming up in not too long from now. In Echo Park on the 101 southbound at Rampart, wrecking the next to the left lane, slow from Western. Baldwin Park had trouble on the 10, westbound before the 605. That crash out of traffic on the right side.
The stage is set for MLB's postseason.
How good was that?
October hits different. Watch baseball at its finest. Postseason 2025. Major League Baseball. Trademarks used with permission.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Dodgers kick off their quest for a back-to-back World Series championship tonight at Dodger Stadium against the Cincinnati Reds. Game 1 in the best-of-5 first-round series jumps off at 6. Live coverage on ESPN. Cincinnati starting pitcher tonight is Hunter Green, a young brother who grew up in L.A. The 25-year-old Green is in his 4th season with Cincinnati. The Reds selected Green with the number 2 overall pick in the 2017 Major League Baseball draft. The 6'5" right-hander was a marquee player at Notre Dame High School in Sherman Oaks. In April of 2017, Green was featured on the cover of Sports Illustrated after one of his fastballs was clocked at 102 miles per hour. Green is a product of Major League Baseball's Urban Youth Academy in Compton. Should be an interesting matchup tonight between Green and the Dodgers. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Yeah, y'all, come on. Come the drums.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we fight the power every day.
Yeah, gotta give us what we want. Gotta give us what we need. Hey.
I listen to KBLA and I love the commercials. I know what the commercials mean. I also, if I'm looking and trying to figure something out, I need something to talk to me that might hit me. And it happens on TV because, you know, every time they show a sporting event, they got the pharmaceutical companies back to back telling people how to fix the sickness on the same stuff that they sell them. So we get it.
Yep, we get it too, Chuck D. And that's why at KBLA Talk 1580, we don't black down.
Drop it. Our freedom of speech is freedom of death. We got to fight the powers that be. Fight the power. Fight the power.
We asked seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up. Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number to put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone. And should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month.
If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
Lena Bloom for the Bail Project. Imagine you're stuck in a jail cell and you can't afford bail and someone offers you a way out. Just plead guilty and you can go home and kiss your kids goodnight. What do you do? What thousands have. You plead guilty whether you are or not. Cash bail makes poverty a crime. That's why the Bail Project helps those who can't afford it while fighting to end cash bail, because freedom should be free. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
Hit me.
National news of consequence, informed opinion, and analysis beyond the headlines. You're listening to A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580.
You are listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. I'm Dr. Nii-Quartelai Quartey. Got my high school bestie in the house, Jazz Summers, writer and director of what I believe will be a hit on Hulu, the movie Stay. It's a supernatural thriller through a Black lens. It premieres on October 8th, and so mark it down on your calendars, set your little news alerts. Set whatever reminders you need to set on the Hulu.
on the Hulu,
right? Look, do all the things because it's a work of art. It's a work of art. We were talking about how African spirituality is really, really helped inspire Jazz to write the script for this film. And it is a through line throughout the film. Jazz, what do you say to the very narrow audience out there that somehow thinks that, a Black American writer director that is, speaking to African spirituality. There are a lot of folks that feel like maybe that's not our conversation to have. What do you say to those folks out there that challenge you on that?
I think it's definitely our conversation to have. I think African spirituality has never stopped, should never have stopped. And it's our responsibility to keep it going, keep it alive, and keep talking about it. I think that, my feeling about African spirituality, I think you and I have talked a lot about this, just privately growing up, is something that we should all tap back into and realize that a lot of those stories come from all over Africa, that a lot of those things originated, from the motherland. And so I think to get a stronger understanding of whatever religion that you or spirituality that you like or you subscribe to, there's a root in it in Africa, and there's a root in it in its origin of tales and stories that have been stolen and taken and reused that come from Africa. And so I think that it's our responsibility to be in these conversations. It's our way of connecting to our ancestors, those who came before us, and realizing, that we all belong in the conversation and that we all are connected through space, time, history, and the future.
I mean, I just love that, for both of us, there have been projects that we've been very passionate about that where you can draw a direct line to the motherland. And I think that says something about not just who we are, but the kind of environment that we grew up in. Both of us are from the San Francisco Bay Area. Talk to us about your origin story and how growing up in the Bay has influenced you as an artist, how it's influenced your work related to what, again, I'm claiming is going to be a hit film on Hulu.
Yeah, I'm born and raised in the Bay Area. My mom is born and raised in the Bay Area. She's from West Oakland, and then she lived in Walnut Creek. And my dad was born in South Carolina, Orangeburg, South Carolina, and he migrated to the Bay Area. He fell in love with the Bay Area the first moment that he moved out here. And so the Bay is something different, man. The soil is different up in the Bay Area. It just is. It's a place where independence is celebrated in terms of, being different, being unique in our style, our music, our dress, and, the way that we talk and the way that we dance, the way that we move, the way that we think. And so growing up in the Bay Area, it was a mindset of not being a part of the establishment. You know what I mean? Like before all of the tech companies went out there, like that's when we grew up in the Bay Area. It was before all those tech people went out there and did their thing. The Bay Area was a spirit of independence, of fighting the power. Like my mom, was around San Francisco State. Anybody who's from the Bay Area knows San Francisco State was very popular for the sit-ins and the teachers making up curriculum for African American studies, and my mom was a part of it. My mom is one of the first African American women during that time, obviously Angela Davis and the Black Panther Party movement in terms of getting education and becoming a doctor. Like she was one of the first Black women to have a doctorate and teach Black studies, Black psychology. And so all that was going around in her upbringing. And my dad, comes from the South, comes from the segregated South as a Black man growing up in that time period. And also, he played football for Michigan State University during the period when it was the first mainly Black football team that was going up against Notre Dame in the Big Ten, and back in the day with Bubba Smith and all those guys winning a national championship. And when he came out here, he was one of those dudes who was reading books. My dad read 1,000 books about life and about the struggle, and would just pass all that stuff down. We would go on these car rides around the Bay, and he would just talk to me about life and talk to me about philosophy. And, I was 8 years old, 10 years old, 12 years old. He's talking about Hinduism, Buddhism, he had been raised in Baptist church, but he was talking about all these other religions and all those things. And he was a world traveler, and he was just dropping game and dropping jewels about life and about, the world is bigger than just being in the Bay and being in your surroundings. And you have to look at the world from a different lens. And I think the Bay Area celebrates that. Berkeley is, we would hang out in Berkeley. We would hang out in Oakland. You know what I mean? Like those type of places, we're celebrating just a different independent vibe and how to look at the world.
And so talk to us about how those experiences that you had as a part of your origin story, how it influenced the creation of the main characters in Stay. Even as you talk about your story, I'm thinking about those different characters. And some might even say that streak of independence that the young couple had, right? Did that independence sort of drive them apart? And did an awareness of that independence help to sort of bring them together?
I think for the film, yeah, very much. It was very much so based on people that in my life, in terms of the women that I've known, in terms of my sister, who's very strong, independent, my mom, who's very strong, independent, free thinking, and also
say very, very strong.
Right. Very, very strong. I mean,
very, very strong.
Very, very strong. Yeah, like I'm the youngest child of the family, so I have two older sisters, and the sister that we're talking about, Aisha, is who I grew up with the closest in my age, and so I was the young kid, the young boy who had these older women in his lives who in his life that was really influencing him about the type of music and the type of things that we listened to and we were able to watch on TV because they were in control until I got to a certain age. And then, my father was very influential in my life in terms of just, as I said, dropping jewels, dropping game, but also he was a really strong, independent-minded man who didn't take anything from anybody at any time. But also had like a real respect for women and his daughter and my mom. And so attributing that to this film, this film deals with a lot. It's a supernatural thriller, but I think it's safe to say that there's a lot of romance. Like this definitely, there's a hidden love story. I want to make sure to point that out. There's a hidden love story in the film that I think people are really going to appreciate if, they realize that this is a horror movie, but as well, it's a love story. It's a complicated love story that is dealing with two individuals that are in love, have been in love, and are trapped in a situation where they might need to rekindle their love if they're going to be able to get out safe. And so that is just coming from influences from, my own experiences, being a young gentleman, growing up with the young ladies and, making some mistakes and also, trying to figure out life as we all try to do with the opposite person that we fall in love with. And that gets a little complicated a lot of times.
Wow. Complicated, huh?
Complicated, man. This is a complicated. Love is a complicated thing.
Wow. And so talk to us about any loves of your life help to shape this film. Any
There's a special woman in my life that definitely is Creole and has a Creole background, and I think definitely help influence some of those Louisiana, New Orleans Creole vibes that we will find in the film, for sure, definitely.
Oh wow!
Mm-hmm.
You over here breaking news?
No, not just keeping it all the way 100. She's definitely gonna listen to this later and watch this later. So definitely, you go ask the question, sir. You go ask the question.
He give me that look. He said, "Keep it pushing, keep it pushing."
No, not keep pushing. Just shout out to her.
Well, that's great. That's great. Listen, this hidden love story. I've never heard of a supernatural thriller that also had a hidden love story that was through a Black lens. They don't make films like this. And that's why we've all got to do our part to tap in and support. And so set your reminders to check out Stay on Hulu. It premieres on October 8th. We all will definitely be watching. But Jazz, I can't let you go anywhere without spilling a little tea for the people. The people want to hear you spill a little bit of tea, and on me and you. And so when we come forward, it's time for our recurring segment, Quiet Part Out Loud. I may regret this, but I'm going to give Jazz a chance to share whatever he wants about me during the Quiet Part Out Loud. But you better believe I'm going to share something about Jazz during the Quiet Part Out Loud. More with writer-director Jazz Summers of his debut film Stay on Hulu. You're listening to A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. Make it good.
Striving to make America a nation as good as its promise. This is A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
JP Morgan Chase offers tips for the local business owners in 2025. Small business landscape is ever-changing, and the Los Angeles market is no exception. A startup or legacy business, revisiting your mission statement and recalibrating offerings can renew opportunities for growth and innovations. Programs like Chase for Business Coaching for Impact gives entrepreneurs access to expert guidance, helping you streamline operations, strategize your growth, and navigate complex challenges. Businesses with a clear sense of purpose can navigate any challenge effectively, but also build stronger customer loyalty. Visit chase.com/coaching for impact for more information. This segment is sponsored by JP Morgan Chase.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Severe from Vicks.
Sinex Severe nasal spray.
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Severe instantly relieves nasal congestion and works 6 times faster than nasal decongestant tablets. The 12 hours of relief allow you to get back to the moments that matter without congestion.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Try Sinex Severe from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
There's nothing like when you get that part from eBay and it just fits. Yeah, the first time. So you can do less of this and get right back to more of this. At eBay, you'll find all the parts you need, guaranteed to fit, at prices you'll love. Sounds good, doesn't it? eBay, things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
The California Crusader newspaper would like to thank all of our subscribers for their support throughout the years, proudly serving the South Los Angeles and South Bay areas for more than 40 years. The California Crusader is a multicultural, Black-owned, adjudicated newspaper that focuses on providing newsworthy information to the people in our community. We're constantly looking for ways to assist businesses in our community to connect with our subscribers. We provide low-cost, effective ways to promote your business with our reasonable and affordable advertising rates. You can participate by suggesting, sharing, and submitting your stories on the California Crusader newspaper Community Share Facebook group page, or visit our website at cal-cruise-news.com. That's calcruisenews.com. Then click on the Submit Now button located on the top right corner of the homepage, or text CCN to 42828. Again, text CCN to 42828. The California Crusader newspaper, working together to build a better community for our future. Subscribe today.
Notable journalists, industry leaders, lawmakers, change makers, tastemakers, and you. Working to build a more perfect union on KBLA Talk 1580.
We are live on air in afternoon drive time, and live means that you don't get to redo. Live means once you say it, it's out there. You're listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580. I've enjoyed this hour being in conversation with my high school best friend and brother, Jazz Summers, who's making his writing and directorial debut on October 8th. The film is called Stay on Hulu. Run, don't walk to the remote. Set your reminder right now, because it's not every day that you see a supernatural thriller / complicated love story, dare I say hidden love story through a Black lens. It's not every day you see a work of art quite like this. There's a lot of money on the screen, as they say. And I would add, there's a lot of moisturizer on the screen. These folks look good on screen. And that doesn't happen by itself. But it's time for the quiet part out loud. And I'm doing something I rarely do. Where I'm going to give Jazz Summers. Don't say you didn't get good treatment when you came on the show.
Okay.
I'm going to give you an opportunity to share the quiet part out loud, whatever it is on your heart. Our leaders, learners, and listeners, they want to know about us off camera and off air. And so I'm going to share a story. You're going to share a story. Go.
Who goes first?
You.
Oh, I go first.
Yeah, it's my show, so you go first.
So you want to see how bad it gets, basically, is what you're trying to say, so you can set it up for me.
I'm saying the clock is ticking. Go.
I'm saying, do the people know that you used to have hair? Like, I knew you when you had hair on top of your head. So does everyone realize that you used to have hair on the top of your head?
I think people, through a quick Google search, can figure out I used to have hair on my head.
So, ladies and gentlemen, listeners, when it's prom and you're getting your suit together and you
really want to tell a story?
You're getting your look right. Okay, we're getting hyped up. We're doing our thing. Everyone's checking each other, making sure everyone's photo shoot fresh. And look, Nii-Quartelai Quartey took a chance. Let me just tell you, there's a picture, there's a photo of my man in a white suit. He brought the white suit out to the party and said, "I'm about to show y'all how I get down." And that was one thing. We could have left it at that. We could have said, "You killed it with this white suit." I think there was black tie. He had it looking fresh. And we could have left it. We could have left it at that. Now, I don't want to talk about barbers and I don't want to talk about people's profession. And I don't know what Nii-Quartelai Quartey said to this barber, but he walked out of the shop. And when I tell you his cut had a lean, like a lean and a hammerhead shark look to it. And I looked at him, I said, bruh, what did you say? What was the instructions to the barber to get this hammer? So basically the night we just said, what's this hammerhead shark walking around the dance floor doing in the white suit? It was just this thing coming at us all night. And we all were just wondering what was going on. And so I just wanted to make sure they knew you had hair. And when you did, how you flexed it out with the hammerhead shark. That hammerhead shark haircut is crazy and wild. I'm not going to put the picture up for you, but I do have it. I do have it.
Oh wow, you really had to get that out of your system, didn't you?
I did. Because you have this like really trying to have this like bald head look going, and I'm cool, I'm slick.
You're trying to. This is real. This is natural.
I mean, do you wear it well, sir? That's what I'm saying. Like, some people can't carry it well, so you carry it well, but you did have hair at one point, and the choices in the haircut selection was crazy. We're not going to talk about the twist. We're not going to talk about the twist, the Oprah twist. We're not going to talk about that you went on there. So forget. I'm not bringing that up.
I actually didn't have twist. I had an S curl when I was on S curl, and if you are an 80s baby, you know exactly what we're talking about. That little S curl box. You gotta let it sit in, but not too long. Yeah, right. I think that's a part of the reason why my hair is a little thin. It's not so much that I'm bald. My hair is thin in the front.
Yeah,
and so that's why I'm not growing it out. But well, I'll give a different example. I'll spare Jazz and give him another example. I could talk about how, he was probably one of the only freshmen in high school to have a mustache. He was the first one to have a mustache, right? It was a thick mustache. I mean, like Mr. Potato Head kind of mustache, right? And it's like, how did all that happen, right? I could tell that story, but I'm not going to tell that story. Instead,
you're just mad because I could talk to the senior ladies. That's what the mustache. That's all that. All the mustache does is make sure the senior ladies know what it is. But okay.
All right. Is that the story we're telling? Okay, we'll tell that. But I will say this, that oftentimes we talk about a lot of news that is trending across the country, and whenever there is a story of a shooting of particularly unarmed Black men, both Jazz and I reach out to one another in some way, shape, or form, because we had a similar experience. When we were 18 years old in the city of San Francisco, we were celebrating my birthday in our friend group. Jazz's birthday's in January, mine's in April, and some of our other friends, their birthdays aren't until later in the spring, summer, and fall. And so we went to San Francisco one night to a club, and, you know, we are walking down the street on Broadway, and a San Francisco police car comes racing down, and they actually jumped out, guns drawn. And, you know, I'm thinking that Jazz and I we had walked into a situation in progress, and he said, "No, fool, they are drawing their guns at us." And so, you know, thank God that what has happened to too many Black men across this country didn't happen to us.
Yeah.
Those sorts of experiences, they stick with you.
Yeah.
And they create a level of awareness, a level of compassion and empathy. And that doesn't leave us. And I think in a lot of ways, we channel that into our work and our witness. And so I'm going to share that story.
It's changed the whole tone. The whole tone of the whole thing changed with your story, but okay.
It did.
Well, do you want to tell the people how you went very crazy? Like, you put our lives in danger, because you said you went NWA, you know, the police, and said, "Give me." You thought you were Denzel Washington from Training Day. I'm taking all your badge numbers, and I said, if you don't calm down, if you don't chill out a little bit, we will end up dying. Because you said, "I'm getting cases on all of you. I'm taking your badge number. This is ridiculous." You very much were on some Black privilege, and I was like, we literally about to die here on these San Francisco streets trying to go to a party. Because that's what I remember, sir.
This is true. This is true. This is true. I know your rights. No, you're right. I knew mine, but at 18 years old, I probably could have pulled a more finesse behind it.
Probably could have pulled a little more finesse. Yes.
We're gonna have to leave it there. My thanks to writer, director Jazz Summers. Again, his film Stay debuts on Hulu October 8th. Run, Don't Walk to the Remote. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. Yeah, Stay October 8th. Supernatural, complicated love story. Please check it out. Please talk about it on Twitter, social media, get the word out, get the vibe out. We want this thing to be trending. We want people to talk about it. It's a conversational piece. Stay October 8th on Hulu. So thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. And thanks to the entire Village helps us produce a more perfect union each and every day. Our executive producer, Tavis Smiley, our sound engineer, brother Andy, our show producers, Faraji Muhammad, Art Sears, and Journey Burst. And of course, each and every one of you, all of our leaders, learners, and listeners, we curate the show every day with you in mind. I hope you were tickled by our conversation with Jazz Summers. Remember, do what you can from where you are with what you have, but by all means, do something. I'm Dr. Nii-Quartelai Quartey, and you've been listening to and streaming A More Perfect Union on KBLA Talk 1580.